Guys, we recently hit 1 million coins. Well, actually, I think we hit 1.3 or 1.4 million coins we're up to now on the trading account. So I thought it is only right that we release the 0 to 1 million coin blueprint guide that you can follow to go from 0 to 1 million coins, no matter how good you are at trading. I've decided to split it into 4 different stages, which goes based on your budget. And each stage, I'll walk you through the exact method you need to do to get to the next stage. But as well as that, just some general themes that you need to keep in mind at each stage that help you sort of progress as a trader, as well as just make coins in the short term as well. So I got something for everyone here. I guarantee if you follow this video, at some point you will hit 1 million coins, and hopefully it is soon. But yeah, let's jump straight into it with stage number 1. And before you say anything, yes, we're on 400k. We've got our icon selling at the moment, which is why we're on 400k, okay? So I'm not a fraud, don't try. So boys, the 4 stages we've got are the preparation phase, the grind phase, the learn phase, and then the pure profit phase, right? I want to start with number 1, of course, which is the preparation phase. This is what I'm going to deem 0 to 30,000 coins, maybe 0 to 20,000 coins, right? It's if you're in that right, like at the start of your trading journey and you have no coins in the club, right? The reason this is called the preparation phase is that I don't actually recommend trading straight away from 0 coins, as it's one of the hardest ways to get up from 0 to 20,000 coins. This is where you're going to play games and things like this, okay? There's so many ways this year you can make coins on the game. A big one, right, is in Rivals, you will get bounties where you can get, I think it's 10,000 coins for just winning certain games, with where you've got the little bounty on the right-hand side there. There is also different things like objectives where you can get tradable packs. Any SBCs where you can put untradables to get tradable packs out. I'm not sure we've got any out at the moment. There should be marquee matchups out, but not the untradable packs like that. The packs like this where you get tradable packs out, right? Stuff like that is just the easiest way to get to 20,000 coins, all right? A really big one is the moments. If you've not done the moments objective so far, I think it's play versus AI. If you complete this moments objective, where I think you need to do 50 stars, might be 60 stars you need to earn throughout these early moments, you get a 50k tradable pack, right? Seems boring. I know it's not trading. Trust me on this, though. Just go and get 20 or 30,000 coins, even if it's with stuff in your club, right? Selling players in your club, selling the chem styles you've got, whatever it is, just get to 30,000 coins, get to 20,000 coins, and you will fly from here on out. But trust me, trading with no coins is so much of a grind that it's not worth it. It's more worth it to just go and get a first set of rival rewards or champs rewards and start from there. And this is where we'll jump into the real trading with stage number 2. Right, boys, the grind phase, stage 2. This is where you go from 30,000 coins all the way up to 250,000 coins. And this is the first proper trading phase, right? The first phase is the preparation phase. You need to get out the way to get your coins going. This is where you're going to start trading like a pro, okay? Before we jump into the methods, you need to know these themes, right? At this budget, there's a couple main themes I want to cover. First one is it's going to be small profits, right? If you're starting at 30,000 coins to 250,000, you're going to be doing small profits on cards. You're not going to be finding 20, 30,000 coin profits, right? It doesn't work like that early on. There's small profits. The second theme is you're going to be wanting as close to 100 things selling at all times, right? You're in the grind phase. This is the phase where you got to do the most work to get the coins, okay? So you want near 100 things, selling at all times, pretty much. You basically want a constant cycle of coins, right? I think about it like a conveyor belt, okay? You're never going to see your maximum coins in that top right-hand side like I've got now, right? Because you're constantly going to have your coins in cards that are selling in these methods that I'm about to show you, okay? So that means you might not look like you're making coins, but in the background, you're constantly buying, you're constantly selling. It's like a conveyor belt. It's constant. And the last theme for this stage is just that you're not looking to flip meta gold. I just want to mention this because this is sort of what people think as like the main method of trading when they see maybe people online doing it. You're not looking to do like sort of meta flipping, right? Where you get expensive gold when they're low and sell when they're high. That'll come later on, don't worry. But right now, don't worry about that for now, okay? You're in the grindy phase. This is the hardest part, but it's by far the most worth it. So let's jump into method 1, which is chemistry style trading. I love this method. I put it first because it's by far the best way, in my opinion, to get to 250,000 coins when you've got 20 or 30,000 coins. And boys, most of these methods, including this one, we've got videos on the channel, right? You can go find all these videos on the channel. I go way more in detail, but I'll show you them all here, right? Starting with the gold, rare, anchor, shadow, and hunter, right? Chemistry style trading is essentially buying cards with chemistry styles on, these 3 here in particular, as they sell for the most, and then selling them for a little bit extra because there's a gap on that card between what they sell for with a chemistry style and what they sell for without it, right? There are 3 generic filters you can use, in my opinion, and then a really good way to do it is just on players, where you use individual players. Let me show you the generic filters. This is where you go gold, rare, anchor, And remember, this price that I'm about to put in now will change throughout the year. It might be different if you're on PC, so just listen up closely, okay? So you're going to find out where the cheapest gold rares anchors are, okay? So right now, it looks like they're really cheap, possibly even 750 coins. So we can go one down. The chemistry style disappears every time after a search because the game's broken. It might even be 700. So it's possibly 700 coins, right? And what you can do is you can sit and buy any card here you compare price and back out, compare price and back out, and it refreshes the market, okay? You can sit and buy any card that comes up that you'd want to put an anchor on, right? Any defender, any midfielder, like this Bowie here, right? You sit and buy that, and you go and check what they sell for with an anchor. A lot of the cards are not much profit. This Bowie, if I had to guess, and we'll check now, actually. Yeah, so this Bowie with an anchor is 900 coins, right? So for him, it's like 300 coins profit. But because they pop up so frequently, you're on small budget, it adds up quick. But you can get cards on these filters, like I think Pablo Barrios is a really good one that I get a lot on the generic anchor filter, where he sells for quite a lot with an anchor. He's decent amount of profit, right? He sells for about 1.3 thousand coins. This will sell, and he goes for about 1.3. You pick him up at 600, 700 coins, and you're like doubling your coins on those cards, right? So you sit there on that generic anchor filter, and you can do the same for Shadow, where you've got gold rare Shadow, and then you go find the cheapest price, which I think for Shadow is it about 800 now? This changes all the time, boys, so you need to make sure you're not just copying these filters, you're going and finding what works. You're looking for the cheapest buy now, which for Shadow's 750, right, at the minute. So again, compare price back out, and the reason you're not buying Gordon, by the way, and the reason we didn't buy Dia on the other filter is because they're attackers, right? They're not looking for shadows and anchors when you've got an attacker. You're looking for defenders. And then when we do it with Hunter in a second, it's the other way around, right? But you're looking for defenders. So there, you'd buy this Chan for 800 coins. I'm ideally looking for 750 or below, but you can see someone bought that there. And then you can go and list for what they sell for with a shadow. And then again, you can do it to the Hunter method. That's the next generic one, where you do Hunter. And with Hunter, okay, you're not looking to buy defenders and midfielders. You're more looking to buy any sort of attacker, okay? As obviously Hunter's an attacking chemistry style. The price here looks like this is fine. I could buy this Cunha. You could buy anyone that pops up below this 900 coin price point. And you'll very quickly learn what these cards sell for. And it's like a little bit of a conveyor belt, right? It's a profit machine. Do this around peak times. Do it around content. Do it around when we get promo pack supply, when people are on the game on the weekends. And these cards will fly in, right? They're the three generic filters. The way you do a player filter on chemistry style trading, which is really powerful, is find a player that trades well with chemistry styles, right? I know Robinson does. What you're going to look for here, right? Take this into this is really good advice when it comes to chemistry style trading. Is left backs, right backs, left wings and right wings for Hunter, and then also central midfielders that are good at attacking and defending because they do really well with all three of the chemistry styles that we're talking about. Okay, but left backs and right backs, and then left wings and right wings that are meta. Right? When you've got that, you can go through and find an abundance of players that are between sort of 1 and 10,000 coins. Then all you need to do, right, to check if this chemistry style trading is going to work on a single player, is go and check what they sell for without a chemistry style. So it looks like he's selling for about 1.3, right? So you know we can pick Anthony Robinson up for 1.3k just without a chemistry style, right? Go and check what he sells for with a shadow. I think for him, it's really expensive. It's like 3,500 coins, can you see? There's not really any for below 3.5k. There's a couple there. He's like 3.3k, right? So that's a massive gap. You can also check anchor on him because he's a defender, right? The anchor gaps will always be a lot smaller because it's a much cheaper chemistry style. He's selling for 1.6 with an anchor, maybe. Probably 1.5. So he's selling for 1.6, 1.5 with an anchor. So really, you're looking to pick him up for 1.2 if he's got an anchor on. And any price really with a shadow because the shadow gap's just so big. But he's just a card that I knew from before. I've traded chemistry styles on him before. So I know I can compare price and back out on this Robinson card, right? And look for any anchors and shadows that pop up. And again, if you do this around peak times, these cards on the lower end cards normally pop in quite a lot. You can pick a load up for the anchor and make a couple hundred coins profit. You pick a few up with the shadows and make a couple thousand coins profit. And again, you're just looking to pick up as many cards as possible and sell them on with that chemistry style, right? I've got a full in-depth method on this on the YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description. And this method is what I did to get to about 500,000 coins this year. I think for you, getting up to 250,000 coins, it is perfect. Let's say you don't want a chemistry style trade for whatever reason, you're crazy and you just don't like doing it. The next method is mass bidding at stage 2, okay? Mass bidding people love because they don't have to snipe. There's a couple cards you can mass bid on. Here are my favorites. Manager leagues that hold value. So basically manager leagues that actually just sell for anything. So if you just go and check, Premier League Manager League, that sells for something, right? It's above discard, so you can do it on that. All you got to do is check the Manager League actually sells. And we'll jump into that in a second. The second one is silvers. Whenever we get silver supply, these do really well on mass bids. When you get silver supply, you're looking for silvers that sell no matter what. So what I mean by this is, if you put a nation in, a lot of the top nations sell. So I think France silvers, I'm guessing sell. They're down a little bit. If we have a look at Premier League silvers, yeah, so Premier League silvers there are 250 coins they're all selling for, which means this would be as simple as putting 200 coins in, go mass bid on all of these cards for 200 coins, every single one for 200 coins. And a lot of them will, so it seems like it's silly, right? Because they sell for 250, but a lot of them sell for more than that, right? This Oscar Bob, for example, this Mark Guéhi, this Tyreek George, they all sell for more than 200 coins. But at a minimum, you go bid 200 coins on all of them. You know that you can sell them all for 250 at a minimum, and a lot of them will sell for more. Again, small profit. I prefer chem style trading. Other people prefer mass bidding. The way this would work on the manager leagues is you put a manager league in. These do well because a lot of people just pick them up on lazies, so they'll buy them for more than what they're worth. So if this Premier League manager league is worth, let's say, I think it might up a little bit since a few of the Premier League SBCs, but here it's about 2,000 coins. So you can mass bid on that for anywhere really around here at 1.7. Because again, you're looking for small profits. Oh, he's put the league back in though. So again, you can bid on anything here for 1.7. I prefer doing this with some of the other manager leagues, right? Just look for some of the off manager leagues that sell for more than discard. A really nice price range, I think, is if it sells for between 500 and 1,000. That's because these cards are worth less. People don't often bid on them as much, right? Less competition. The Liga F often does well. There's a lot of players from there recently. Is that coming in around a price we like? That's even more expensive. What else have we got? I want to try one of the cards that is coming in at that sweet, sweet price range. Serie A looks like it could be the one, right? That's sitting at 650. It looks to me that Serie A manager leagues are selling for 350, right? There's none past the 30th minute, which again, if you see this here, when you search Serie A manager leagues, the reason there's none past like the 30th minute is because people are lazy buying these at 350, okay? So although they don't sell for 350, you can go to Serie A, you can put max price 300 and pick up any of these on 300 coin bids and sell them from between 350 and 400 or 500 coins, as people will lazy buy them, and you'll get a lot of sales on that. That's a really nice way to make small profit if you're on small coins. So again, mass bidding in general is a really good method if you're not as quick as sniping. I prefer manager leagues, silvers. There's also some other filters I can put a video out on soon, but they're my two favorites for mass bidding. And the last method of stage 2 is I want to call silver supply, right? If you do silver card trading this year, it will make you some of the most coins you have ever seen in your entire life because of how overlooked it is. And this year, we have silver tournaments returning, which I'm excited about. But we have silver tournaments returning, which means a lot of the silvers are going to hold value again. When we get League SBCs later down the line, a lot of silvers often hold value from them League SBCs as well. All silver supply trading is, and it's as simple as this, right? We get silver supply every Thursday normally with marquee matchups, tradable supply. And we also get sometimes daily SBCs you can do. But if you want the simplest method, just know that when we get marquee matchups on Thursday, it's going to bring silver supply onto the market between sort of 6 p.m. on Thursday and 8 p.m. on Thursday, or sometimes a little bit later into sort of 9, 10. You'll see that silvers sit at their lowest for the entire week, right? Because it's the only real supply we get on them. And these meta silvers that people have thrown into their teams for the silver tournament, like Musa, was like 7k the other day, I believe. We go and check. Even more now. So look, he's sitting at 8,000 coins. When I was looking at him yesterday or the other day with marquee matchups, I think he was about 6,500 coins. You bought a few and already you're making 1,500 coins per card. Because it's on silver cards, people often overlook it, right? If you're on a lower budget and you're closer to the 30,000 coins, don't look at cards like Musa. You're looking at cards that are even cheaper on silvers, like this Tyler Diblin, who is, I believe, around 2,000 coins at the moment. Or has he come down? It's about 1.8, 1.6 thousand coins. And look at that, right? That's a card you can pick up like that. These sit quite often on the market when you got silver supply. I know I can sell this card for about 1.6 thousand coins, right? We can list this value from before as well. I think it was 900 coins, wasn't he? And then we can list that Diblin at 1.6 thousand. I will list him at 1.5 thousand coins and take the profit on him there. But yeah, these lower end silver cards that are between 500 coins and 2,000 coins, all you need to do is check their prices on FUTBin or somewhere else, or you can even do it manually, right? Go and look at what silvers sell for before Thursday at 6 o'clock when marquee matchups drops. Just make a list of it somewhere. Pick a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 silvers that you like the price of. See what they get to at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock on a Thursday. Look for the biggest dips and just pick a few of each card, right? Don't go all in on one. Diversify just to stop your risk. But go put some coins into those silvers. Watch on Friday how straight away they'll start to rebound as people buy them again for their Silver Stars tournament teams. So, boys, they're the methods for stage 2, but my biggest tip in general for stage 2, the grind phase, and between 30 and 250,000 coins is be smart with your coins, okay? This is the hardest part of the game to make coins, or the hardest budget to make coins, right? You've got the least to work with, so you've therefore got the least methods to work with. It's smaller profits. Be smart with your coins. Sell everything in your club that you don't need that sells. Sell chemistry styles if you don't want them. Sell players that you don't need. Don't underlist your cards. Don't buy your team 5 different times throughout the week, okay? Be smarter with your coins. Get out of this first grindy phase, and the coins start flowing easier and easier from there. But when, not if, when you hit 250,000 coins, you're going to need to know the methods in stage 3, which I'm going to call the learning phase. Boys, this is the learning phase. Stage 3. This is where you've got between 250 and about 500,000 coins. And this is where coins start getting easier and easier to make. You're still going to be grinding as much as possible, but you can now also look to invest a little bit, okay? You're in that sort of intermediary phase. You can now start looking at gold meta, and maybe even low-end fodder. But let's jump into what I'd do at this stage, okay? We've got Araujo here. You can start looking at gold meta, right? What you're going to be looking to do in this phase is the lower-end gold meta. Cards no more than sort of 20 or an absolute maximum 30, 40,000 coins in this phase. I really stick to the cards around 20 or below that are meta like Araujo, okay? And you can look to pick them up in the low windows on the end of champs weekends like Sunday night or Saturday night when we get promo packs on a Friday and they dip, right? This is the hardest part of trading. So if you're completely new to it, I've got a video which I broke down how the pattern normally works on a Friday when we get a promo. It's a big one to check out. It really does help. But in general, you can start looking at these cards now, okay? So yeah, look to pick them up when there's heavy supply on them and the market looks like it could be rebounding. So again, Friday, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock when we get promo packs. Saturday night and Sunday night, I really like. Monday night did really well this week with the champ supply. Thursday morning at Rivals and people open all the packs and then all of a sudden they've got coins afterwards and they go buy up the team. That can be a really nice rise, okay? You need to know with meta golds though, it is never guaranteed. You will always make coins maybe 70% of the time, right? You're going to lose coins on meta golds and that is part and parcel of trading, so don't worry about it. I can do a full video on this soon if you want, where we do a full-on deep dive, but meta golds, when they have huge dips, are now in your budget range. You still need to be doing some of the more grindy methods from stage 2, but what a really good one can be here is chemistry style trading on a higher budget now that you've got more coins to play with. So you know how chemistry style trading works now. You've gone through the method in the stage 2, but what you can look at is cards that sell really well with chemistry styles, but are a little bit more expensive as you can afford to buy more of them. Rashford often does really well. Again, this is not always consistent and you need to check there's a gap on these cards, right? As if there's not a gap on these cards, you don't chemistry style trade. Let's have a look with Rashford now, live, if there's a gap, right? He's sitting at low 7,000 coins, right? I think it's 7.2. He's about 7,000 coins, right? With no Hunter chem style. We throw a Hunter on Marcus Rashford here, and I'm going to guess he's around high 7s or 8,000 coins, right? He is high 7,000 coins. If you look here, he doesn't sell for 7.7. He actually, to me, sells for 7.8 because none of the 7.8s are getting past the sort of 40th minute here. So I think I can sell this card with a Hunter. 7.8, which after tax is 7.4 thousand coins. Which if you pick up at 7k, again, it's only 400 coin profit, right? What you need to understand with these higher budget players, the reason I like them so much is when they're a little bit higher budget, so many people put chem style cards on these players because they're more from their champs teams and their rivals teams. When we showed you Anthony Robertson before, less people are going to put a shadow or an anchor on Robinson because he's a cheaper player, so people don't want to waste their chem styles on cheaper players. Whereas with this Rashford, you will see a Hunter on Rashford pop way more than you'll see a shadow on Anthony Robertson, okay? So you could sit at this sort of 7.1 price. You could flip to this menu here into the chem style and pick up any Hunter here that pops up for 7,000 coins. List it for 7.8. And again, this is only really if you're getting above 250,000 coins. As with these expensive players, you still want to be picking them up en masse, right? It is at the end of the day, only 400 coins profit a card. So you need to be picking them up en masse, not just one at a time to make some decent coins. But I really like this with players in the budget, sort of between 7 and 15 or 20,000 coins that can do really well. There you go. We get a Rashford 7,000 coins. That took about 15 seconds. We can just list him straight back up for about 7.8 thousand coins. And if you can pick up one of them every 15 or so seconds, every minute, you're doing 400 times 4. Don't test me on the spot. 1.6 thousand coins a minute. You sat and did that for an hour straight. You're looking at what? Is that 80, 90,000 coins in an hour? That is ridiculous if you just did that for an hour straight, okay? Of course, again, do this around content times. Do it on weekends when more people are on the game, selling and buying their teams, because it's just when players get listed more and also even get bought more. Because obviously people want their teams gone and people want to buy new teams. Do it on the weekend. Do it around content times. And again, really good method. Last new method at this stage 3 of 250 to 500,000 coins is lower end fodder trading, right? So I would say if you go on Futbin and go players cheapest buy rating, this first page here is all you need, right? I would look at 84s, possibly up to 85s, right? I don't like anything 86 and higher because I think you want to be doing this en masse when you're doing fodder trading. And because you've got a smaller budget, you're looking at 84s or 85s, possibly even 83s are down the line. But 84 is a really good place to start. You look at someone like Grimaldo, right? Again, I've got a fodder trading guide out, which you can take a look at in detail. But essentially, fodder trading is just tracking these highs and lows of the card here. You can see when they get low with supply. This was on a Tuesday night. You can then see they get higher afterwards as more SBCs come out. Fodder's very fluctuation-based. You're just going to pick them up on lows. You have to pretty much wait. It's quite a passive in the background trading method. When these 84s go, here, I'm looking, if I see them drop to like 1.2k at some point throughout the week, and I know that that's a decent dip for them. Maybe it'll happen the end of today because it's a weekend with supply with champs. It might happen later on in the week. We don't know. When you see these cards dip again, pick them up en masse. Sell them when they get to any of these high points. These work really well for lazy selling. Lazy selling, like I say, is just when you list a card for 100 or 200 coins more, or basically depends on what the price is, but a couple % more than what they actually sell for. And you get some nice sales with lazy sells on fodder cards as well. But you can look to start fodder trading here, basically. But stick to the lower rated. You can watch that in-depth guide if you want to. But stick to the lower rated is what I have to stress on this one. Time for my biggest tip for stage 3 and people at this budget. My biggest tip at this stage is please, please, please don't stop doing the method you learned from stage 2, okay? When you're doing this budget at 250 to 500,000 coins, if you put a lot of money into chem style players or fodder, you might very quickly find yourself with 50,000 coins liquid in the top right, okay? That doesn't mean you sit there and do nothing with it. That means you go back to the method you learned in stage 2 and you can keep grinding. And when you keep this constant conveyor belt of coins coming in the background, this is how you get to 1 million coins so much quicker than everybody else. So keep doing the methods from stage 2 when you're low on liquid coins, like I say, maybe fodder investing or higher end chem style trading. Right, it is the exciting times of stage 4, the pure profit phase. This is where everything comes together. You feel like becoming a proper trader. The 1 million coins is in sight. This is my favorite stage up until 1 million coins, of course. Let me walk you through 4 new methods you can do at this phase. And then obviously you can still do everything in the prior stages, but 4 new methods you can do at this phase, okay? Number 1, you can see we got Gravenberch on the screen here. This is basically higher end meta flips. I've just showed you before Araujo. This is where you can start doing it on these cards. The reason I like these cards, right, is because often, even though these higher end cards often have lower return on investment than cards like Araujo, so lower return on investment, essentially, if you put the same money into Araujo, which you did Gravenberch, a lot of the times the lower end cards can outperform. But the reason I like doing these higher end cards is they are more resistant to drops in the market when you are investing. Essentially, what will start to happen is, as players like Araujo get replaced in people's teams, they don't bounce back as well as much because when they drop, less people are buying them from the team as they get replaced by other centre-backs. Higher end meta, like 50,000 to 100,000 coin cards, often stay in people's teams a little bit longer. They're still quite meta, so they don't get replaced as much, basically. But again, I've got a video out on this which shows you Friday trading, which is a really good start to meta trading. But essentially with these cards, they have very predictable dips throughout the week based on supply. As you can see here, Sunday night is an amazing dip. What happens on Sunday night is everyone finishes their champs games, so everyone gets champs rewards, as well as everyone selling off their team because they don't need it anymore. Huge sell-off, right? And look what happened last Monday with Gravenberch. He went from 58 to 68,000 coins in the space of a day, basically. I think that's, sorry, Saturday night into Sunday night, and it's the same pattern again, as you can see, Sunday night into Monday, okay? So it happens on both Saturday and Sunday night. Again, it's the same reason, though. It's the champs rewards. People finish, get a lot of rewards, sell off their teams, and then the pattern repeats the next day. People then buy their teams up for the next, like, you know, when other people are playing champs, they buy the teams. Happens again on the Monday, because we had champs on Monday, so people buy the teams again to play champs. And on both nights, he goes from 58 to 68,000 coins. So you could even buy him there, sell him again when he reaches his high, buy him again, sell him again when he reaches his high. And you can just see the massive profit potential on some of these cards, right? That's a very brief introduction to sort of meta trading. I can do a full breakdown video, so comment down below if you want to see that, right? Where we can go full in depth on Futbin graphs and show you which cards to choose and all sorts like that. Maybe a longer video, but that's the basics to it. I will stress though, no matter what coins you're on, try and stick to cards that are at a maximum 5 to 10% of your total budget. So if you run Gravenberch, who's 57k, this is for maybe if you're on 570k, right? But if you're on less coins than that, you wouldn't look at Gravenberch, you'd look at someone a bit cheaper. You just want to be able to buy enough cards to spread out your investment. You don't want to go all in on one card, and if it dips, you're locked in those coins, right? So you can't be trading in the background, for example. So yeah, try and stick the cards that are at an absolute maximum 10% of your total liquid budget when you're doing this. Boys, we mentioned it at the start of this video, but the next method is icon trading, okay? It's going to be very minimal icon trading because you're not at a massive budget, but I know this is a really fun one for a lot of people. So let me at least jump in and show you how I icon trade when I was on less than 1 million coins and how I think you should as well, okay? I would always look to go at a very small budget, so maybe 250,000 coins, right? I wanted to always be able to pick up 3 icons at a minimum, right? So I was on 750,000 coins. Then I'd put my max buy now at 250,000 coins. So at an absolute minimum, if I buy 3 icons, I can afford it, basically. I can afford to buy 3, right? The way I do icon trading is very simple. Loads of ways you can do it. I simply put my budget in and go to the 59th minute on icons, right? People overcomplicate icon trading a lot. It's simple. It's very simple. It's very similar to gold trading in a way. So I'd go to the 59th minute, right? And I'm going to put myself in your shoes here. Let's say you don't know any icon prices whatsoever. You're new at this and it's a bit intimidating at first. Absolutely fine, right? All I would do at the start is look at all the icons that have been listed in the last sort of 30 seconds, 40 seconds, okay? So these maybe 4 or 5 here, right? Let's say you've got not a Scooby on prices at all. No worries. All you're going to do is go over to Futbin, Futwiz, whichever site you use, and check prices on icons and start to build up a sort of database in your mind of icon prices, knowing what they sell for, knowing what a good buy price is. I'm going to show you how to do that, don't worry. But essentially, the more you do this, you'll very quickly, especially if you do this at a small budget, by the way, where there's less cards at that budget, because I think below 250k, there's only about 15 or 20 icons. You'll very quickly learn all the prices of those icons and what is a good buy price for them. And on your next search, you can then go and look if there's any deals at that 59th minute. Let's show you what it takes to find a good icon price over on Futbin. So we've seen Luis Hernandez pop up on that 59th minute there, so we'll use him as an example, okay? I'm on Futbin. It should be the exact same on Futwiz, but I prefer to use Futbin for this just because of the features they've got, okay? The first thing you need to understand about icons is these graphs can be very misleading. Icons are so rare on the game. They can have random spikes of rarity where the price gets inflated, but it is not to worry because we're not going to use the graph really. We're going to use this latest sales history, okay? On Futbin, you can see it here, latest sales, and this shows you what people are actually buying this icon for. This is really useful because the graphs might lie a little bit with prices. These don't lie. It shows you exactly what people are buying this icon for, right? So this Luis Hernandez, let's say I've been looking to buy him. I can see what he's selling for here. Someone's bought one for 201. Someone's bought one for 200. Someone's bought one for 205, 204, 208. You're looking for the high point here. You're looking what he gets to when he's at his highest, right? Not when he's quite low down here at 187. This is what you're going to look to buy for. But you want to know what you can sell him for and make profit from, right? So I'm seeing straight away, his high point for me is about 205, 208. It's somewhere in the middle, right? It's not going to be just the highest sale at 208 because that only sold once. You don't want to leave it down to luck. You're going to be looking for these sort of generic high points. So for him, I would go about 203, 204,000 coins, okay? The tax on that card then, which Futbin has, which is why I like to use it, it is about 10,000 coins. It says it here, which means the profit you would make is 192, about 192, 193,000 coins, okay? So you know, Luis Hernandez, if you sell him, you can get 193,000 coins back. You might want to make 5 to 10% profit on an icon card. So all you need to do is just work out in your head, well, what do I need to buy this card for? So for me, this Luis Hernandez, I want to be making around 10,000 coins if I bought him. So I know that I need to buy him an absolute maximum at 183,000 coins to make that sort of 10,000 coin profit on the card, okay? So when you search again next time, any Luis Hernandez that's 183 and below, you buy, right? That is one icon, but you can do this with every single icon that pops up at the budget you're working with, and it's a really good way to learn icon trading. This is like a starter, an introduction, okay? I've got a full video on the channel on icon trading you can take a look at, but that is basics. That is like sort of the basics for icon trading as a whole. You might change your filter a little bit and how you're searching for them, but in terms of buying and selling, it's very similar to that no matter what you do. That's method 2 of the 4 new methods I want to show you. The next one is special card chemistry style trading again. It is once again chemistry style trading. I'll be very honest, this is not one that I use to get to 1 mil, but I know it exists and I know a lot of people like it, so I did want to show you, okay? For me, the way I do this when I've done it in the past is I'm looking at hunters and shadows only. When you're working with cards 10,000 and above, anchor basically has no effect because it's not expensive enough, but hunter and shadow should be fine. And you're going to find out what the cheapest hunter special cards sell for. So for me here, I can see it's about 10,500 coins, but that's because this card is not a very usable card. She's decent, so she sells for 11, and I reckon you could even get more back on her as well, by the way. You could probably sell her for 12. And you're looking at this sort of like discard price, right? And you kind of get a gauge for what these are selling for with a minimum with Hunter. You do the same with Shadow. So let's have a look at what the Shadow's looking like as well. And with Shadow, Very similar, about 11,500 coins. But see how this is a striker, a cam, a centre-back that no one's using, and a random left-back that no one's using? That's why they're so cheap. You're looking for cards that are going to pop up, right, that are more meta than these cards. So again, we're not looking at this Batcherito. We're looking for cards that are a little bit more meta that people actually want to put in their teams. We've got a sale makers here. Straight away, I like this price, right? Because 11.25 thousand coins, he's a little bit more meta. And all you can do is, if you're new to this method as well, is again, just go and check what this guy sells for, okay? You don't need to rush and panic and buy things, but go and check what he sells for with a shadow. That was 11,250 it came up for. Look at that. Really nice buy. He sells at 14,000 coins with the shadow nearly. You could have bought that and made 1,500 coins profit. I could have bought that then. It wasn't even a snipe because I added it to my transfer target, which means it was still on the market. I didn't even know his price, right? Really, really nice. So you can do this with Shadow. You can do this with Hunter. It's just another version of Chemi style trading. It's a really good one if you've got a bit more budget. And the last new method at stage 4 is basically just fodder trading, but a much higher end when we're starting to talk about things like icon packs and hero packs and big player of the month SBCs, okay? You've now got the coins where you can start to heavily invest in 87, 88, 86. These 3 ratings are really good. 89 is really good, right? These higher rated fodder cards. So let's take a look at this Irene Parade as an example, right? It's exactly the same before as with cheaper fodder. You're looking at maybe the 14-day graph on Footbin or whichever site you use, and you're just looking for these natural lows and highs, right? They've been high a lot recently with a lot of the good SBCs that have been out, the hero packs and stuff. She then goes to low here, you see. This was in the Saturday morning supply from FUT Champs. So you could have picked her up at 13,000 coins probably en masse, and she's already creeping back up to 14,000 coins in a couple hours, right? So it's these really simple patterns you're looking for, okay? When we get big supply with fodder, you look to buy them on bids, on snipes. Don't just buy them on mass, by the way. If this Irene Parade, see here, was 13.3 thousand coins, always look at that example there. You'd be looking to pick up on bids for maybe 12,750 or on snipes for 12,750. Always looking for that bit of extra profit, which just, you know, makes it a little bit safer in case these cards drop, right? But yeah, fodder trading at a high level is now accessible, but it follows all the same principles from before in stage 3. Time for that biggest tip again. And my biggest tip for stage 4 is basically always leave 50 to 100,000 coins budget left to actively trade with when you're going to be on the game, okay? When you're looking at this bigger budget, yes, you're going to be investing more, but if you just invest and forget trading completely, that's when your coins start to sort of slow down and you're not making as much as other people, okay? What you want to do is always leave 50 to 100,000 coins when you've bought your investments that are making coins passively, to then go and actively trade using the methods in stage 2 and stage 3 again. And that way, you're constantly making coins in the background no matter what. And that's how you get to sort of 2 to 5 million way quicker, right? You're not just making coins from these big icons, you're also making these little coins as well. And it really does add up. So that's the biggest tip for stage 4. Boys, if this helped out whatsoever, leave a like on the video. A lot of this was very quick and very rushed in terms of the actual methods. So any questions at all, leave them down in the comments. I've got videos on most of these methods on the channel. If you want anything here explained in more detail, let me know in the comments and I can make a video on these methods. You've also got a Discord in the description, which is just a free to join community FC26 Discord. You can ask me any questions in there as well. A great place to get started is this video that's on screen now. It is the fodder guide, and it's where I go really in depth on how I like to trade fodder. It is a great place to start, so go and check that out. But like always, boys, until next time, I'll see you in a bizzle.